тижня голова поліційної служби Торонто Myron Демків відкрив представлення нової книжки автора Чак Конкел. Книжка цікаво представляє паралелі між радянським Сталіном та рашистом Путіним.
It's with great pride that I'm here today to assist in the launch of this book, Who Has Buried the Dead? It's a historical fiction set during the Second World War, written by our very own Staff Sergeant Chuck Konkel. For those who don't know, Chuck is a 47-year veteran of the Toronto Police Service. When our talented members are off duty, many spend time at their homes pursuing their own interests and hobbies, and some even take up additional passion projects. However, most don't write and publish novels in their spare time. So when I learned that Chuck had written his third book, I knew that this was something that we should be celebrating. I'm honored to support this book launch, Chuck, the proceeds of which will be used to help children who have been adversely affected by the war in Ukraine. Our Ukrainian community in Toronto, and indeed across the world, has been deeply shaken by this war. And it's, of course, shaken many children. I'm so glad to know that as we celebrate Chuck's accomplishments today at this book launch, that the sales will help support a very important cause called Project Sonyashnik Fund. As you know, Project Sonyashnik Fund ensures that children of fallen and active members of Ukraine's brave defenders get a chance to attend camps that are sensitive to the unique challenges and traumas they may be dealing with. Protecting and nurturing children during this challenging time is so important, and I'm confident these camps will give children the things that every child should have when they go to camp: a safe place to play, a chance to make new friends, and an opportunity to develop as people and develop their leadership skills. Chuck, I know that you have deep connections to Ukraine through your own Polish heritage, and I appreciate you taking the time to raise money for this incredibly important cause. As the Chief of Police for Toronto Police Service and a fiercely proud Ukrainian Canadian, I want to personally thank you for your 47 years of service to our communities and congratulate you on publishing this book. I really appreciate you sharing your creative talents with us and using this opportunity to support such an important cause as Project Sonyashnik Fund. So I'll just close by saying thank you all. Slava Ukraini.
Project Sonyashnik is an organization that hosts summer and winter trauma therapy camps for children in Ukraine whose parents serve in the country's armed forces or fallen in the line of duty. In addition to the camps, Project Sonyashnik also provides psychological support throughout the year via group and individual counseling. Our camps and services are offered at no expense to the families and are made possible by the generous support of BCU Foundation and public donations. Sonyashnik, might I add, is the Ukrainian word for sunflower, a symbol linked with Ukraine that symbolizes resistance, hope, joy, and growth.
It's interesting that Lydia mentioned the word resistance, because resistance is part of this text as well. In the book, Who Has Buried the Dead, the author rediscovers the past and finds the words to talk about resistance of many who fought against both Nazis and communists. He writes, quote, "Death may have claimed their lives, but not their souls. Triumph over evil can only be achieved through the bravery of tens of thousands of ordinary and indeed extraordinary souls," end quote. While reading the text, it was hard not to draw parallels to the world we live in today. The crimes of Stalin during World War II are today's crimes of Putin. The war atrocities, the looting of victims, the denial, the shift of responsibility, and the propaganda is today's reality. Why do we stand up to evil? Well, I think the author has summarized it. Our pride won't allow for anything else but a grand battle. There's no choice? Nope. We will fight because it is a principle, and we are a principled people. Mr. Konkel, thank you for this very great text and for reminding us of our principles, illustrating that principled people stand up and support in what they believe in and what is right.
This war has brought a lot of sufferings to the ordinary people, deaths and massive destructions. Thousands of children have become orphans, having lost their fathers or mothers or both parents. That is why it is so commendable that the author, Chuck Konkel, has decided to donate the proceeds from the sale of this book to Project Sonishnik at BCU Foundation, a project that organizes trauma rehabilitation camps for the children of Ukraine's armed services personnel and the many children who have lost a parent to the war.
For those of you who know the history of Europe, know that the trauma of occupation and repression, as well as resistance and an enduring faith in victory, is deeply rooted in Poles. We know that this faith in victory is also very deeply rooted in Ukrainians. Thus, we know Ukraine and Ukrainians will prevail. Poland was the first country to help Ukraine attacked by Russia. Today, we host millions of Ukrainians children and women who fled the war. Although it has been 17 months since Ukraine was attacked by Russia, we all pray and hope for Ukraine's imminent victory.
We have incredibly talented people on the Toronto Police Service, and today one of our 47-year veteran Staff Sergeant Chuck Konkel is here for his book launch, which is amazing in and of itself that we have that kind of talent in our midst. But very importantly, Chuck is donating the proceeds of the book launch to Project Sonishnik, an incredibly important initiative supporting the children impacted by war in Ukraine, particularly children of the defenders of Ukraine, the brave souls that are fighting to defend Ukraine. The children impacted by that war are supported through Project Sonishnik, very important work that this book launch is supporting.
My parents lived through that. Your grandparents lived through that. That does not justify it for them. They shouldn't have to live through that horror of war and finding your relative with one leg missing and living in shambles and rebuilding your life from nothing. You should not have to do that when you're 11 years old. That's morally, ethically, and epidemiologically wrong.
Well, I'm very excited for the opportunity to join the Ukrainian community in the Blue West Village at the Ukrainian Festival, an annual event that brings together the diaspora from across Ontario, frankly, and perhaps nationally, to celebrate their Ukrainian heritage and culture. And it's a great honor to be participating this year. I've lived in the community my entire life and continue to live in the neighborhood, and it's an area that I very much cherish as a great place to grow up and celebrate and pay homage to my Ukrainian cultural heritage, and a place I always felt at home and continue to feel at home as a Canadian of Ukrainian descent.
Нам дуже приємно чути, що голова поліційної служби міста Торонто Myron Демків буде офіційним маршалом українського фестивалю у Blue West Village у вересні.